So we're in Tyler, Texas.
You're too far away.
So we're in Tyler, Texas this morning, standing in front of the City Hall, and I just learned that Tyler was settled in the mid 19th century and named after President John Tyler, who signed the annexation for Texas to enter into the United States, and so that's why it's called Tyler. And we're here in Tyler, Texas to learn all about the rich history of this beautiful historic town. So check it out, follow us around, and you can see pretty buildings, prettier than that one.
Hold this.
But that one's a good one too. Now the City Hall was designed by architect T. Shirley Simon Sr., and you can see it's in the Art Deco style. Served as the Tyler City Hall since construction in 1938. It's 3 stories with 2.5-story wings on the north and south sides, and you can see that there. Notable features include classical revival ornamentation, fluted pilasters or columns. You can see right there in the center. Green marble blocks between the windows, those are pretty, and square blocks above the words City Hall that protrude from the wall.
And they do, slightly. I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure why either, but there are 6 of them, in case
it's not
you can't
attractive.
Count. Yeah, I mean, they could have put some color on those things.
They could have made them green marble.
They could have made them green marble to match, couldn't they? Maybe they ran out of money in their budget.
Oh, no. Okay.
Well, the building is also historically significant for its connection to the Public Works Administration, which provided the funding to the city to build it. The PWA was one of several programs the federal government established in the 1930s, yay Roosevelt, to provide jobs and support the national economy during the Great Depression.
Really? Yay Roosevelt?
Well, he was the president at the time.
Yeah.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright. These boxes around the city have decorations on them. I think this one's pretty attractive. I like that. Beautiful, beautiful. So now we're looking at the Marvin Methodist Episcopal Church. It's now UMC Church, but this was the very first Christian denominational church built in Tyler in 1890, and it was named after a Civil War chaplain who visited Tyler after the Civil War.
And it stretches half a block.
Yeah, all of that is a new addition. The original building is from right there.
Right. You can see the different colors of brick.
So now we're standing in front of the People's Petroleum Building. This building was built in 1932 and served as a bank building for much of its history, but it was built in 1932. Famous Houston architect drew up the design, but it was built by a local businessman who saw a need at that time for office space for people working in the petroleum industry, engineers, biologists, geologists, scientists, and other people working in the industry. And East Texas at that time was a hotbed of oil industry activity, and Tyler was one of the prominent places where that took place. So this was, for a very long time, one of the most significant, tallest buildings in the city.
I think it's still one of the tallest.
Yeah, it still is, actually. Well, this is the historic Carnegie Library building, and it was erected in 1904 and named after a philanthropist and steel magnate. Can you guess which one?
Carnegie?
Andrew Carnegie.
Who never came to Texas.
But he donated the funds for the building, as he did with many other libraries around the country, all which bear his name.
I think that was a stipulation to him donating the money.
Probably so.
I believe it was. I think I heard that in a documentary about him.
Yeah. So this is the Liberty Theater here in Tyler. This building was built in 1930 and operated for 50 years before it sat vacant. The city of Tyler purchased it in 2008 and renovated it and restored it back to its Art Deco original. And you can see the ticket booth there on the right side of the building. Really pretty building, and looks like it's still operational today. It's been operational since about 2011, and you can see they've got some concerts coming up. It looks like
Hocus Pocus is a movie.
Is that a movie?
Yep.
Mo Bandy, is that a movie?
I don't know.
I thought that was a music
Mo
artist.
Bandy is a
country music artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some movies and some music acts that are planned on the calendar. And so now we're looking at the Smith County Jail. It was built in 1881, and in fact it was the first building built in Smith County after the Civil War, but the fourth jail constructed in Smith County overall, and it served as a jail for a long time. They added a second story later, which doubled the cell space, and then early in the 20th century it became Lewis Hotel, and there's still an original jail cell right outside the building. You can see it right there. That's what the jail cells looked like on the inside. And you can see the little metal seats there.
Those are
cots on the inside there. An upper and a lower. And they did not have a whole lot of space there. Of course, there were jailbirds, so how much space did they really need? And there are the padlocks for the door, the entry to get in. And you know what? I don't think I'd like to be in that slammer.
I mean, I think that might be where the word slammer came from.
It might be. Now you can see red brick roads all throughout the Tyler Downtown Historic District. Just like this, and just like that down there. Red brick roads. The street we're on right here is not a red brick road, but you get to the next intersection.
It used to be.
Yeah, they paved over it, but you get to the next intersection, then it's red brick for about the next probably half a mile. So this is a really interesting feature of the city. They built this plaza out of a face front of an older building, and they built this to commemorate the historic area that in the early 20th century was a bustling part of Tyler. A lot of shops opened here, but they were destroyed at one point by fire, and so what they did was they just built this plaza right here across from the courthouse, county courthouse right over there, just to commemorate the early 20th century and the bustling capitalist local shops and things that served the locals and the tourists. And right next to it, they've got this door, this real pretty door, this very pretty historic face of this building. It says J. Pabst up there, and if you look through the window, there's nothing over there. The front of the building still stands, but there's a parking lot back there, and so there's actually no shop or anything. But I would imagine at one time of the very popular destination for consumers. Now, you can see right here, it says Cotton Belt Crossing. They've got this little mock train right there. It just with some train tracks and little train, mock train sitting there. That's kind of neat. We're about to head over to the Cotton Belt Depot, the historic depot here in Tyler. And I just thought I'd stop and take a look at this, because it was right on the way and it was pretty cool looking. And right along the wall here, you can see all this graffiti, wall art. A walk on the block, that's what it says. And there's a zombie over here. Oh yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Love it, love it, love it.
Those are made out of railroad ties.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't point that out. You can see it's made out of railroad ties. They must have welded all that together. Looking pretty sharp. Yeah, and you can see right up.
These are rails.
These are rails. And you can see the spikes, the railroad spikes. And then right up there at the top of the railroad,
That's rails.
the rails, the ties are the wooden pieces that run across. But that's pretty cool.
Okay.
And there's the side view of the little train car. So here is the historic Cotton Belt Depot here in Tyler, Texas. I imagine at one time this was a flourishing destination for train travelers all across the country, coming in and out of and through Tyler, Texas. It's a St. Louis Southwestern Railway Cotton Belt passenger depot. And it is a Tyler historic landmark. It is now a museum, and you can go inside. Hours of the museum posted there. You can go inside and get a look at some historic train stuff. Innovation Pipeline, another building that still stands from the past. And right here is the museum entrance. Ta-da-da-da! It's a breezeway. But this points the way to the museum, and you can see the train track right here on the other side of the fence here. Yeah, up and down, up and down, up and down. And this is where you would come to catch the train. And this is the entrance right here. No food or drink, please.
Right, and they're not open today.
You are under surveillance.
They're not open today.
They're not open. It's closed on Sundays.
It's closed most of the time. Train is there for a reason.
So, right here the train tracks come together. You can see you've got a rail running that way and back down that way. And then
there's two sets going.
You've got two sets going back that way.
And there's another one over there.
And that way. and then there's one right back there that curves off of the main line and circles back around and hits the perpendicular line right down there on the other side of that street. But this is it. This is pretty cool. You got the tracks crossing, and I would imagine you would need a switch master to come out here and somehow move those rails so the train could cross by. Huh? Latches.
There's levers that they move.
Right. So they have levers wherever they're located. Maybe in that box back there. Is that the switching box back there?
No, look. See down there where that D is?
Oh, yeah.
That's a switch.
That's a switch down there? What's that box right over there?
I'm going to guess it's power. But
That could be a power. Alright, so now we're looking at
the Blackstone building.
the Blackstone building. It was built in 1939 in Art Deco style. It's 6 stories tall. The purpose was to provide office space for the expanding city of Tyler during the East Texas oil boom, and it stood alongside the Blackstone Hotel, which is no longer standing. It was built in 1929, but it was demolished in 1985. And some of the professionals who occupied the space included entrepreneurs in the oil industry, geologists, attorneys, and engineers. It also housed the Union Bus Terminal from 1938 to the 1950s. Today it's still used for office space and is the headquarters for the Tyler Chamber of Commerce.
If you enjoyed this week's video, please do us a favor and hit the like button, the little blue thumbs up, and give the video a share to your friends and subscribe. We'll see you on Friday for our next update. Have a good week, folks.